All right. We are live. Oh, sorry guys. I think my audio's on. There we go. Voila. Let me check. There we go. All right. I think it's on your side. Or I can hear on the laptop or something. No worries. All right, guys, drop in the chat if you can hear me, if you can see me, if all is A-OK. Volume up. Volume up? Okay, let me know. Increase volume, please. A little bit echo. Yeah, that was, sorry. So laptop's in the background. Volume is low. Okay, let me know if it's all good now. 0.44 if volume sounds good now. If all is A-OK. If we are good to go, okay. 0.44. 0.44. All right, lovely. All right, ladies and gents, we are on to an incredible session. I have been witnessing, it's been going on for a long time at this point, but I've been witnessing specifically the last 24 hours, Jason just like go back and refine his slides. He's currently refining his slides right now for the main session, and just putting together this masterpiece. Obviously, we, made the decision to extend the challenge because, Jason has such a wealth of knowledge and he doesn't show it as much as I would like him to. And I'm very excited for him to kind of push on to that today. So yeah, past 24 hours, he's just been absolutely cranking on this thing. And I'm very excited for you guys to see it. And then in terms of our VIP, obviously we have 7 VIP days. This is day 4. So this is pretty much about halfway through. And today's session I really want to use as a bridge just to tie some things together before we get into a bunch more technical stuff as well. So VIP 0.44, amazing. Hi from Denmark. All right, beautiful. Well, guys, in that case, we will jump into it. I got my trusty iPad in front of me. And on that note, let's get into it. So we have a lot to cover in today's session. So here is what's coming up. First, I'm going to give you a recap of yesterday's challenge and announce who is taking home the brand new MacBook. Then we're going to dive deep into something that's silently killing your progress, which is procrastination. I'm going to show you the hidden system that keeps you stuck and the new system that actually gets you moving. And finally, I'm going to give you today's VIP challenge, your chance to put everything we talk about into real action. Because yesterday, your mission was to create a mock WAP store with placeholder text. The goal here was not perfection. It was to prove that you can actually execute instead of just consuming more and more information. So many of you guys submitted your pages, and today one of you will be called live and crowned the winner. And you're going to be getting that brand new MacBook delivered straight to your door. But here's the catch. When I call you, you'll have to give me the password that I'm going to share just before making the call. You guys probably know the deal at this point. Okay, you know how these things work. That way, and we know that you're here live with us and you're paying attention. If your phone doesn't ring today, relax. It is not. Oop, sorry guys. Give me a sec. Sorry guys. Technical error. Give me a sec. Whoopsie. 100. Sorry guys. Apologies. We'll get back to that in just a second. A little iPad issue. All right. Oh, good. Apologies about this, guys. Always some errors when we go live with these things. So gonna have the presentation try to go back up and running in just a second. I can scroll if you want. It's all good. I know it's a long one. I've had to get it. Yeah, good to go. Apologies, guys. Involves a lot of scrolling, so I didn't want you guys to have to witness all of that in real time. Anyways, so with that being said, before we wrap up, I'm going to share the details of the next challenge, complete step by step, and you could be the one getting the call in tomorrow's session. Now, let's go ahead and start. We are coming up on the end of the year, and I need you to have a brutally honest conversation with yourself. Look around, okay? Maybe you set some goals back in January. Maybe you've been working on some plans for months now. Maybe you've got reasons why you haven't yet started. Here is what I've noticed. Most people aren't missing information. No. They're not missing strategies. They're missing action. I see incredibly smart people every single day who can explain exactly what they need to do to change their lives. They've got the roadmap. They understand the market. They know the steps, but somehow they are still sitting in the exact same place they were 6 months ago. Now, look, I'm not here to judge anyone's circumstances. Everyone's situation is different. Time constraints are real. Money issues are real. Life gets complicated. But here is what I've observed over the years. I have watched people with demanding jobs, young kids, tight budgets, and all kinds of challenges somehow find a way to move forward. Meanwhile, others with far more free time, more resources, and fewer obstacles seem to stay stuck in the same spot. So, what's the difference? It's not the motivation. Most people start with plenty of that. It's not willpower. That comes and goes for everyone. And it's definitely not about needing more information. We are drowning in it these days. The real issue is something far deeper, something most people don't even realize is happening. There's a pattern that plays out over and over and over again, a cycle that feels productive but keeps you spinning in the same spot. It is so common that I see it everywhere, yet most people never even recognize that they're caught in it. You are trapped in a systematic cycle that most people never recognize, let alone understand how to break free from. So go ahead and drop a stuck in the chat if you have ever had all the information you needed, but somehow, for some reason, still never took action on it. Drop a stuck in the chat if you felt that feeling before. You know what that feels like. Stuck. Okay, good. Well, then clearly this is going to hit home today, because here is what's really happening. You have turned preparation into procrastination. You're mistaking procrastination, preparation. You're mistaking procrastination, preparation, and you're mixing the two things up, okay? And you don't even realize you're doing it. Now, today I'm going to show you exactly how the system works, why your brain keeps you trapped in it, and most importantly, how to break free from it once and for all. No more I'll start when, no more waiting for January. The time for excuses, my friend, has officially just run out. Before we dive into solutions, we need to understand what we are actually dealing with here. And here's the first thing you need to accept. Procrastination isn't a character problem. It is a system problem. Look, maybe you've been telling yourself this is all about discipline or willpower. And hey, maybe that might even feel true at times, but I want you to consider that there might be something far, far deeper going on. What you're experiencing is actually a predictable, systematic process that happens in your brain. I mean, think about it. Your brain evolved over millions of years to keep you alive in dangerous environments. Back then, rushing into unknown territory could legitimately actually get you killed. So your brain developed this incredible ability to spot potential problems and come up with reasons to avoid them. Today, that same mechanism kicks in when you are about to start something new. Your brain doesn't know the difference between facing a predator and launching a business. It just knows new thing equals potential danger and starts generating what feels like perfectly logical reasons in order to wait. Now, this process is not random, okay? It's some mysterious force that seems to be working against you. What you're experiencing follows a predictable sequence, almost like a program running in the background. And like any system, once you understand how it works, you can adjust it. Think about how a computer operates. A computer follows code, step-by-step instructions that tell it exactly what to do next. Most of the time, this works perfectly, but sometimes something goes wrong in these instructions. When a computer gets stuck in a loop, it's not because the computer is lazy or lacks motivation, is it? No, it's because there is a bug in the code, a systematic error that keeps repeating the same sequence without moving forward. So you need to understand your brain does the exact same thing with procrastination, and procrastination actually follows a systematic process. And here's exactly what the pattern looks like. First, you have intention. Then that turns into research. Then the research turns into overthinking, and then the overthinking turns into postponing. Let me walk you through how the cycle typically unfolds and see if any of this resonates with your own personal experience. The first stage is intention, a very pure stage of this, by the way. And this is where you want to do something. This stage usually works flawlessly. You decide that you want to start making money online. Maybe you're tired of your job. Maybe you need extra income. Maybe you want freedom. The motivation is real. The desire is clear. You can actually visualize success. This part usually never fails. The second stage is research. You see, this is where you start gathering information. This is where you begin consuming content. You watch YouTube videos titled, "How I Made 10K My First Month." You join Facebook groups about online business. You follow successful entrepreneurs on social media. You bookmark articles about different strategies. And here is where things get interesting. This is where system should directly move into action. where you take what you've learned and then you test something small. But for many people, the brain takes a detour to the third stage instead. And the third stage is overthinking, which is pure analysis paralysis. Instead of picking one method and trying it, you start comparing everything you've learned. Wait, should I do affiliate marketing or dropshipping instead? Maybe digital products are better, but this person says that e-com is dead, but this other person just made 6 figures with it. You get stuck researching the research, okay? You are not learning how to execute anymore. You are learning about more options. You convince yourself that you need to understand all the possibilities before committing to one, because choosing wrong feels scarier than not choosing at all. And that's exactly the moment your brain switches into safety mode. It's not that your brain is working against you, it's that it's working exactly as it was designed to, just in the wrong context. And the most insidious part, this safety mode feels completely rational. Your brain doesn't tell you, I'm scared, so let's avoid taking action. Instead, it tells you, we need more information to make a smart decision. Let's be responsible and thorough. And that's why the fourth stage is postpone, where actions get pushed to someday. Weeks pass, you've consumed hundreds of hours of content about making money online, but you haven't made a single dollar yet. The overwhelm hits. You tell yourself, this is too complicated. Maybe I should wait until I have more time. Or, let me just finish this other project first. Or I'll start fresh next month when I can really focus in and dial in. So you just shelve the idea, not permanently, just temporarily, where action gets pushed to someday. You're definitely going to do this. It's just not right now. Maybe you bookmark everything for later. Maybe you tell yourself that you're going to revisit it when life calms down. Maybe you decide to wait for the perfect moment when you have fewer distractions. But here is what actually happens. Someday never comes, okay? There's always another work deadline to meet, another family obligation to handle, another season that's too busy to start something new. You are not starting the research phase all over again. You're not even researching anymore. You are just waiting indefinitely in this insidious loop that continues on and on and on. Now, here's where we get to the heart of what's really happening. And this might be the most important insight you take away from today's session. Do you see the pattern in these 4 stages? Intention, research, overthinking, postpone. Do you understand this? Do you understand how this happens? Do you see how this manifests in your life? Now, what's missing here? Action never actually happens. You're trying to get certainty before action when certainty only comes after action. Let me repeat that. You are trying to get certainty before action when certainty only comes after action. I mean, think about this for a moment. In the research stage, you're gathering information to feel confident. In the overthinking stage, you're analyzing options to avoid making the wrong choice. In the postpone stage, you are waiting for the perfect conditions. But here's what is actually happening. You are waiting to feel completely confident about your approach before you start. You want to know it's going to work before you test it. You want guarantees before you take risks. But here's the thing. That certainty that you're seeking can only come from actually doing the thing, not from thinking about doing the thing. It is like trying to learn to swim by studying water physics instead of getting in the pool itself. You can read every book about swimming techniques, understand buoyancy and stroke mechanics perfectly, but until you actually get in the water, you will not understand how it feels to float or how your body responds. Your brain plays a trick on you here. It confuses feeling prepared with being prepared. These are completely different states. Feeling prepared is when you've consumed enough information to feel confident about your knowledge. Being prepared is when you've taken enough action to handle real world situations. Okay? They're 2 completely different things. The irony is brutal. The more that you research without action, the less prepared you actually become. Because you've been studying while you've been studying, the market has been moving, opportunities have been shifting, and people who started with less knowledge have been learning through experience. And here's what really happens when you keep choosing research over action. You don't just stay in the same place. No. You actually move backwards relative to people who are taking imperfect action because they are collecting real data while you are collecting theoretical knowledge. And look, I get it. This pattern feels safe, but there comes a point, I should say, where you have to ask yourself an honest question. How long are you going to keep preparing for a life that you are not actually living? Really let that sink in. How long are you going to keep preparing for a life that you're not actually yet living? Drop stuck in the comments if you recognize this cycle in your own experience. We've all been there. I can tell you, even 10 years into the game, I still get this sometimes. There's certain skills that I want to learn and I procrastinate on it. And I follow this exact same framework. Listen, I want you to think about it. The very thing you think is preparing you for success might actually be the thing keeping you from it. And what would change in your life if you could break the cycle once and for all? Wouldn't it feel liberating to finally move from endless preparation into actual progress? So now that you understand how the broken system works, let me show you what actually works instead. The corrected system looks like this: intention, focused learning, action, rapid iteration. Okay? This is the framework. Notice the difference. We still have a learning phase. Okay, that's important. That's still there, but it's focused and limited. Then we move quickly to action and use what we learned from that action to improve. Let me walk you through each stage. Maybe you've got reasons why you haven't yet started. So that's why the first stage is still intention. Okay, you still want and need the intention as to why you're doing something. So as I said, this stays the same. You decide you want to start making money online. The motivation is clear. The second stage is focused learning, but with strict limits. And here's where it gets different. For example, you give yourself exactly 1 hour to learn the basics of one method, not 10 methods, one method. You watch, okay, one guide, one tutorial. You ask one person for advice, and that's it. Then you stop learning and you move to the next stage, okay? And that is action, because you want to test something as quick as humanly possible. You take what you've just learned and you put it into practice within 24 hours. Not more research, not more planning. You actually do something in the real world to test if it all works. And that's why I told you guys yesterday. That's why yesterday's action or challenge, action plan was just to create an imperfect wall store, a wall page. Just get it done. It doesn't matter if it's filler text. Like I'm telling you, you're living with more anxiety about the thing. Trust me, you have more anxiety about thinking about doing the thing than the actual anxiety of doing the thing itself. Like doing the thing is always easy. It's always the anxiety about thinking about doing the thing. Okay. And that's why you just want to get it out there and you want to get your first iteration done and dusted. Okay. Imperfect action. That is all that matters. This means if you've learned about affiliate marketing, you actually share a link somewhere. Okay. If you learn about digital products, you actually create a basic landing page. The key word here is do. You're going from consuming information to creating something that exists outside of your head. The fourth stage is rapid iteration. Okay. This is where you use real results to improve. Based on what happened in your test, you make one small adjustment and test again. This keeps you in the real world instead of going back to theory. Now you might be thinking, well, this sounds simple in theory, but how do you actually implement this system when your brain is wired to procrastinate? And that's where most people get stuck. They understand the concept, but they don't know how to make it work in practice. So let me break down exactly how to execute the system with 3 specific steps that anyone can follow. Okay, that's very important. Step number 1 is the 10-minute test. The first step is the 10-minute test. I want you to think about this differently than you might expect. Most people think that they need to do something big or impressive when they first take action. Okay, it's this massive, behemoth task that they're doing. They picture themselves launching a full website, creating a full product, or having everything figured out before they start. Instead, I want you to think impossibly small. So small that your brain can't come up with reasons why you shouldn't do it. Here's how this works practically. After 1 hour of focused learning, and notice that I said 1 hour, okay, not 10 hours, you ask yourself one simple question. What is the tiniest thing I can do in the next 10 minutes that moves this from my head into the real world? Let me give you some examples so that way you can see how small we're talking about. If you're learning about affiliate marketing, your 10-minute test isn't building a website or creating a marketing funnel. It is simply finding one product that you would be comfortable recommending and copying the affiliate link. That's it. Okay, you're not even sharing it yet. You are just proving to yourself that you can take one concrete step. If you're learning about digital products, your 10-minute test isn't creating the entire product. It's writing down one specific problem that you've heard people complain about in one sentence as to how you might solve it. You can even use AI for it. Do you see the pattern here? You are not trying to solve everything in 10 minutes. We're just taking one small, tiny little step that proves that you can move from thinking to doing. Maybe you've got reasons why you haven't started yet. The goal isn't to create something perfect. The goal is just to get it into action, period. Because here's what happens when you do these tiny 10-minute tests. You realize that taking action isn't as scary or complicated as your brain made it seem. You start building evidence that you're someone who does things, not just someone who thinks about doing things. Maybe you've got reasons why you haven't started yet, okay? Step number 2 is recognize the research trap. The second step is learning to recognize when your brain is trying to pull you back into the procrastination cycle. Once you've done your 10-minute test, something very interesting happens. You learn something you couldn't have learned from just purely research. Maybe people respond differently than you might expect. Maybe the process was actually easier or harder than you thought. Maybe you discovered a problem that you didn't know existed. This is the critical moment. This is where most people fall back into old pattern without even realizing it. Your brain will immediately want to make sense of what just happened. It'll start generating thoughts like, I need to understand why that worked, or I should research the best way to handle the situation, or let me look up what other people do when this happens. These thoughts sound reasonable in the moment. They even might sound productive, but this is exactly how the procrastination cycle starts again. Sorry, guys. Edit, view. Sorry. This is exactly how the procrastination cycle starts again, disguised as smart preparation. So here is what you need to understand. Your brain is trying to take you from action back to research. It's pulling you out of the real world and back into your head. Instead of falling for this trap, ask yourself a different question. Based on what I've just learned, what's another small thing that I can test tomorrow? Not what should I research about this? Not, oh, what's the best strategy for this situation? Just what can I test next? This keeps you in the action first system instead of sliding back into the procrastination cycle. Here's the key difference. Productive learning has an endpoint and leads to more action. Procrastination, disguised as learning, is endless and keeps you stuck analyzing what you should do instead of doing more things. The goal isn't to understand everything perfectly before you continue. The goal is to keep taking small actions that teach you what you need to know through experience rather than theory. Step number 3 is the momentum builder. Now, when you start taking these small daily actions, something incredible happens. Each action builds on the previous one. You are not starting from zero every day. You're building momentum. Small, consistent actions always beat big, sporadic efforts. Your brain starts to trust that trust that action is safe because you've proven it with a repeated experience. The beauty is that you're not trying to change your whole life at once. You're just trying to change the next 10 minutes. And that, my friend, is how you kill procrastination. There's a difference between understanding something intellectually and actually implementing it. Right now, you might be feeling that familiar pull to research this approach more. Okay, you might be even listening to this and listen to this presentation and go, "Oh, you know, I should research this." No. Okay, you just need to apply it. Okay, you need to apply it, and without application, nothing is going to come from anything that we teach you here, okay? And as I said, that's why we have these challenges every single day, just these small little tasks to nudge you a little bit closer. We're just trying to hold your hand every single day, and we're just trying to nudge you just one step forward every single day. So I want you guys to drop ACT in the chat if you are ready to act on something for only 10 minutes today instead of doing more research. I mean, think about it. What would happen if you spent the next 30 days taking one 10-minute action every day instead of spending hours researching? Maybe you've got reasons why you haven't started yet. And how much further ahead would you be if you started building this momentum today instead of waiting until you feel more prepared? Wouldn't it feel incredible to finally be someone who moves forward consistently instead of someone who gets stuck analyzing options? Now, I want you to connect this back to something practical, because understand the procrastination system is one thing, but you also need to choose the right vehicle to apply this new approach. And that is where the business model selection becomes so critical. Now, you might ask, why is digital products with AI the best business model? And here is something that I've noticed over the years. There are certain business models that naturally create more procrastination than others, okay? Some require huge upfront investment, complex logistics, or even months of preparation before you can even test and see if there's a demand in the first place. And then there are business models that seem designed to eliminate the most common barriers that keep people stuck in research mode. Think about why people usually hesitate to start a business. They worry about upfront costs, inventory, suppliers, shipping, customer service, technical complications, advertising budgets, and digital products combined with AI change how these barriers work entirely. First, there are no upfront inventory costs. Compare this to Amazon FBA, for example, where you might need, just for your first inventory order, $15,000 to $30,000. Okay, I said that's just for your first order. Maybe you've got reasons why you haven't started yet. You're basically gambling that people want what you're selling, and if you're wrong, you're stuck with boxes of products that you can't move. With digital products, you create once and sell infinitely. No inventory sitting in warehouses, no cash tied up in stock that you're not sure will sell. And second, there are no supplier headaches. Anyone who's done dropshipping knows the nightmare of dealing with suppliers. Products arrive damaged. Shipping takes weeks longer than promised. Suppliers disappear overnight, or they suddenly change their prices without even warning you. With digital products, you can control the entire process from A to Z. There's no third party that can mess up your business overnight. Third, there's no physical logistics to worry about. Real estate investors spend months dealing with contractors, property managers, maintenance issues, and tenant problems. Everything is location dependent and requires physical presence. With digital products, everything happens instantly and digitally. When someone buys from you in Australia while you're sleeping, they get their product immediately without you lifting a finger. Fourth, and this changes everything, you don't need to be an expert in any topic. Traditional business models assume you need years of experience or deep expertise. Real estate requires market knowledge. Amazon FBA requires product research skills. Dropshipping requires supplier relationships. With AI-powered digital products, you can research any subject, synthesize information from multiple sources, and create professional, high-quality content in topics you knew nothing about last week. You can research any subject, synthesize information from multiple sources, and create professional quality content in topics you knew nothing about. Fifth, you don't need to spend on ads. Most people think they need thousands of dollars in ad spend just to test if there is any demand for their idea. But there are strategies we teach in the Make Money Online Challenge 2.0 that show you how to get your first sales by borrowing audiences from established influencers and creators. You can ethically steal other people's audiences, make people want to buy without being a marketing expert, and get your first 5 to 10 sales to validate your product, all without spending a penny on ads. Maybe you've got reasons why you haven't started yet. And finally, iteration is incredibly easy. If something about your approach isn't working, you can change it today. Update your messaging, adjust your product concept, try a different angle. There are no physical constraints holding you back. You can pivot as quickly as you can type. And here is what this means in practice. You can test a digital product idea today on a topic you knew nothing about using AI to do 95% of the work. If people show interest, congratulations, then you build it. If they don't, you try a different idea tomorrow. Simple as that. The barriers that normally trigger procrastination simply do not exist anymore. Think about how different this feels compared to traditional business models. Instead of spending months researching whether you should do real estate or e-commerce, you could literally test 3 different digital products ideas this week. Instead of needing to become an expert before you start, you can start today and let AI handle the expertise. This is what breaks the procrastination cycle, when testing becomes easier than researching. So, drop test in the chat if you understand. Maybe you've got reasons why you haven't started yet. In the chat, if you are ready to start to test a digital product idea, instead of spending another week analyzing business models, think about it. How much easier would it be to take action if you could test ideas without needing years of experience? What would change if you could get real market feedback in days instead of months? And how different would your approach be if you could iterate based on actual customer responses instead of trying to perfect everything in your head first? Look, we've covered a lot today. The procrastination system that is keeping you stuck, the action-first approach that actually works, as well as how digital products eliminate the barriers that would normally trigger endless research cycles. But again, none of this matters if you don't act on it. And I know what's happening in your head right now. You're already thinking about how you're going to organize all of this information. Maybe you're planning to watch this again, take better notes, maybe research some of the topics that we discussed here. That is the old system trying to pull you back in. As I said, you don't need more information. You don't need a better plan. You don't need to understand everything perfectly. You just need more action. You need to test your current plan. You need to understand one thing and try it. The difference between successful people and everyone else isn't intelligence, resources, or perfect timing. It is the willingness to take imperfect action instead of perfect preparation. Listen, right now, you have clarity about what has been holding you back. You understand the procrastination cycle. You know how to break it, and you have seen why digital products are uniquely suited to help you avoid the preparation trap. This clarity, the clarity that you have right now, will not last forever. By tomorrow, the old patterns will start creeping back in. The urge to research more, to plan better, to wait for the perfect moment, okay? That is going to start creeping back in, and that's normal. That's human nature. But now, You're going to recognize when it happens. Now you will understand the difference between productive learning and procrastination disguised as preparation. And that is why you have two paths in front of you. There's path one. You can let this information become just another thing you learned about but didn't apply. You can continue the cycle of consuming without creating, planning without executing. And then there's path two. You can use what you learned today to break the pattern. You can move from endless preparation into actual progress. The choice is yours. But remember, every single digital product business started with something, every successful digital product business started with someone who stopped preparing and started taking action. Okay, someone who chose action over analysis, someone who realized that certainty comes from experience and not from research. I can't make you take that action. Quite frankly, no one can. But I can tell you this, the version of yourself that you want to become, the one in order for you to live the life that you want to live, the freedom you want to experience, it's all waiting on the other side of action. Not perfect action, just action. The procrastination system has had its grip on you for long enough, my friend. You know how it works. You know how to break it. What you do with that knowledge now is up to you. But remember, action creates clarity and not the other way around. So, with that being said, next up is the giveaway winners, starting with MacBook winner. And on that note as well, Jason should be coming up any moment now. And I'll pull up my phone, pull up the MacBook giveaway winner. Now, you guys know the deal. Before I open the Q&A, I'm going to announce today's MacBook winner. Here's how it works. I've selected a winner and a backup winner. We have yet to actually use any of the backup winners, which is a great sign. Everyone's showing up live. I'm going to call the winner right now and ask him or her for the password. If they don't answer or say the password, we will move on to the backup winner. Same process. The password is, I guess today, password is quadruple X. Okay, that's the password. And then the one-on-one FaceTime winner announcement. The one-on-one FaceTime winner is Max from Slovenia. So big congratulations. I will actually be giving you a call later today. Ben, yesterday's winner, apologies. As you guys saw, we ended up going super late last night. So I had to give him a call today instead. But yeah, Max from Slovenia, I will be giving you a call in a few hours. And on that note, as said, we will be calling the Mac winner very, very shortly. But before that, let me give you guys a little bit about the challenge. Here is how you have a chance to win the next MacBook, okay? And this is where we turn today's lessons into practice. We've talked about how procrastination keeps you stuck in research mode and how clarity only comes from creating something in the real world. So here's your chance to prove it to yourself that you can actually do it. Okay, so challenge for today, task is very, very simple. We have talked about how, yeah, that is that. Here it is. So step number one, you want to write down your biggest procrastination trap, the excuse or distraction that usually holds you back, and one quick win you're going to do in the next 24 hours to beat it. A quick win, by the way, just so you understand, means something tiny and realistic that you can finish today. It could be cleaning your desk, going for a 10-minute walk, sending that message that you've been avoiding, or writing down one idea that you've been putting off. Keep it small, keep it personal. It doesn't have to be about business. This is simply about proving to yourself that you can take action right away. Step number two, you need to post it inside of the VIP community, and you'll find that under challenge 4. Here's what to include in your post: your procrastination trap, your quick win for the next 24 hours, a screenshot or short video as proof that you actually did it, extra points. Okay, if you want to tag me on Instagram, I might even repost some of you and include the phrase here, one quick win. How selection works, okay, this isn't about having the best answer, it's about showing that you acted. Everyone who posts in the VIP community will be entered into the MacBook giveaway. Rules are very, very simple. You have until 9 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow to submit your entry into the channel. Be live with us when we announce the winner, okay? Remember, I'm gonna ask you for a passcode. Make sure you respond with it. If your name is called and you don't respond within 2 minutes, we will move on to the next person. Luckily, that has yet to happen yet. And with that being said, you need to remember this challenge is not about perfection. It's about execution, about proving that you can move from intention to action. Everyone who submits will be entered into the giveaway, and one of you will walk away with a brand new MacBook. And on that note, we have Jason in the room, and I will grab my phone and we will call today's MacBook giveaway winner.
Yo, 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 VIPs. My .44s, where you at? Give me some love. I've been cranking on the presentation today, man. I'm very excited. Plus, we have a very special guest. We were just getting on the same wavelength for later on in the main presentation today. Oh, look at these wonderful, beautiful souls here.
They love the 0.44, huh?
Yeah, that's why I brought it back. I got 2 of these shirts made, so I can wear them every day now.
All right, well, I'll let you crank some of the Q&As.
Yes, sir.
And let me pull up the winner.
Nice. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Now, procrastination is a very important issue. When I coach clients, because I coach millionaires and multimillionaires, and they deal with procrastination as well. And what I get them to do when I work with them individually is I show them how to procrastinate on procrastination itself. I'm like, hey, you're really good at procrastinating. Like, how do you know when to procrastinate? And so we elicit the strategy of procrastination. So I'm like, what's the first thing that happens that tells you that you need to procrastinate on something? And then we can uncover it at a subconscious level and make it conscious. And then once we do that, we point it at procrastination itself. Where they're like, oh, I can't procrastinate on procrastination. We make them put procrastination off till later. Yeah. Somebody says, what do you think is a good niche, Jason, to go into? I'm going to tell you something that's going to sound ridiculous. I think AI is a great niche to go into, even if you're new to AI, because it's just an emerging market. We going to make a call?
We are. So
Yes.
Today's giveaway winner is Maria A. Obviously, we don't say the full last name for privacy. So Maria from UK. So and they also give me a little bit of context. Context been super active and consistent in the VIP WAP. So shout out to you, Maria. I'm going to give you a call right now, and let's hope you pick up.
Uh-oh.
Pick up Maria.
No.
Answer Maria, no way. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Pick up. No, please answer Maria. Okay, no answer.
No answer. Yeah.
What are the... Am I allowed to call back?
Yeah, let's try it one more time.
Okay.
Sometimes if they're on silent, you do that double callback. Yeah.
No, but I think if you're on Do Not Disturb, it because I'm also on Do Not Disturb, it like automatically declines the call.
Yeah. There's a setting because my wife will always call twice when I'm on, and it'll go through the second time. But I think it's in context, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try one more time, and if not, we'll move on. Everybody was like, where are all the ladies that are winning? This was always the thing when we pulled out. It's random, first of all, and then this happens, of course. Yeah.
People are like, Maria must be sleeping.
Could
Maria's
be.
based in the UK, so I doubt it.
She would be taking a nap then.
Uh,
All right, we're going to have to call somebody else, I think.
okay, all right. Well, we did double call. Oh, yep, no answer.
Yeah, I saw Max just said we had a backup ready just in case.
Yes. Okay, all right. Well, first time having to use backup. So Maria, unfortunately, we did try double call. Mariam. Okay, so we have Mariam from Dubai. Context only shows a phone, created her first WAP for the challenge. Okay, so congratulations. Only thing is if she's in Dubai, I might need to turn on her VPN.
Yeah, true.
Oh. It stopped ringing.
That might be the VPN issue.
It's ringing. Oh. That did not go through it. Okay, we're going to try Mariam again. We're being nice, double calling. I don't use VPN.
I don't use VPN.
Okay, fair enough. I will call you. Okay, fair. Clearly on the line.
Yeah,
So that's the good news.
we'll figure this
I
one out.
will start. Normal call would do. Okay, yes, I will call you normally. Miriam. Start voice call. Oh wait, let me do regular. Well, guys, it's been flawless up until this point.
There we go.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Miriam, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure you know what question I'm going to ask.
For the password, of course.
What is it?
It's the four X's.
4X's. Correct.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Appreciate it. And yeah, excited to send you out your MacBook.
Thank you. Appreciate your hard work and your motivation and talk.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll see you in the rest of the presentation. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Nice.
All right.
There you go. And we did it. Woo! All right.
When it was like double ringing the second time, I was like, oh, there's no way we had it flawless all the way through. And then, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, we were spoiled actually, Mon, because I've done a lot of these calls live before, and there's like a 50% drop rate.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's crazy, man. It's
wild.
We overcomplicate success. Most of it is in the showing up. I did want to. I'll finish the answer on the one question, and where I suggest getting into AI right now for no other reason than AI is just such a big market, and most people are passionate about it, and there's a lot of money moving in it. But really, I mean, you could spin a wheel and throw a dart at the results, and it would probably be a really good idea right now if you use tools like Synthesize or any other way that you can filter down to that unique value zone. All of those are good products. Don't stress too hard about picking the perfect product, though. There is no such thing as a perfect product. There's the product that exists or that it doesn't exist. So any product that you bring into reality will be valuable to you. Some of them will sell better than others, but most people are trying to make that perfect product, and then they don't make any product.
Yeah, you listen, you won't know. And I think we've talked about it before, like how selfish is it to think, or like how egotistical is it to think that you know what the market wants. Now, you can have, there's a lot of indicating factors and there's a lot of leading factors of what the market wants, but the truth is you can have specialized tools guide you 90-95% of the direction, but like sometimes you just gotta put things out on the market, all right, and test and iterate. And you know, we keep, I know we keep saying this, but this is why like I love, and I love any model. I love any model where you can keep trying again and again and not get bankrupted, because that's really what you need when you're a beginner. When you're a beginner, you need training wheels. Like I like business models where you have training wheels, okay? And you can make mistakes, and you know, you might fall and scrape your knee and this, but you're not gonna break your leg, okay? Like scraping your knee is a big difference from breaking your leg. So yeah.
Yeah, true. It's the other thing too, because I saw like questions around, what do you mean teach AI on AI? I just mean, here's the adoption rate of AI is still very low, believe it or not. A lot of people have kind of played with AI a little bit, but they don't know how to show up in their particular domain. And I'm not just talking in business. There's a variety of use cases for AI in really any activity right now. And in most activities, there's a slow or low rate of adoption to it. So you want to be ideally in products where people are just starting, and there's a lot of them just coming on at the same time. The best people to sell to are people who are at the very beginning stage of their journey, because then you can meet them at step one, and you can provide a lot of value with just getting them going. And again, that's true everywhere with digital products. And the big challenge is this: we tend to compare what we think is a normal digital product or an information product, as we used to call them, and those are books, 300-page books by somebody famous who spent 8 months or 8 years or 8 decades writing the thing, and we think, well, how can we create something as valuable as that? But that's general products. So you see a lot of general digital products out there because those are the few that remain that were able to break in and reach everybody. But a majority of money with digital products is made in like a Labubu buyer's guide, right?
It's wild.
You know, one of my favorites one is I had a client where she was teaching translation services for minority groups. So there was like UN, the UN, the United Nations, and these other committees were looking specifically for translators that were minorities. And she was creating digital products on how to get into that space. Be a UN translator as a minority. And she was making 6 figures a year with something ridiculous like that. In my old Amazon days, Iman, there was a brand, they sold for over $100 million. And their whole goal was to crawl through the reviews on Amazon. And every time there was a complaint, I bought this product, but I wish it was pink, or I bought this product and I wish it was 2 millimeters thicker, or I bought this product and it didn't have some weird specific thing that only maybe 5 people in the world would ever want. And what they would do is they would take those reviews, they would take that same product on Amazon, find who manufactured it, go to the manufacturer, create the variation of it, list it on Amazon, and they listed thousands and thousands and thousands of products that each only made a few sales a month. And then they sold the company for hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm like, we need to do that with digital products. But ironically, it was easier, not from a cash perspective, but at least from a creation perspective, to create those physical products than it was to create the digital products. But now it's even easier to create the digital products than the physical products, and it's infinitely cheaper and it's infinitely more scalable. So that's my attitude, is let the marketplace tell you what to make. So you create something, you see what happens, and then you create something else. I don't know, right? And then, by the way, you do what we do. If it worked once, monetize 1.0, then you do monetize 2.0. If monetize 2.0 works, you do monetize 3.0. You just keep going. What's one belief you had about business 5 years ago that completely changed your mind on today? That's a good one. My time horizon keeps changing because I see more and more people go from $0 to $1 million faster than ever before. And I think there's 2 reasons for that. Not that I'm telling any of you to make that your goal, but I'm just saying I see, that point where it tips. We call this the tipping point, where you work really hard, and then all of a sudden everything falls into place. This is the phenomenon of the business world typically. I think there's 2 reasons why you see this velocity towards success when you hit it now. Reason number 1 is there's just more buyers online. So if more people are spending money, before if you got 0.1% of a market, that might mean $100,000. Now 0.1% of most markets means millions and millions of dollars. And the second thing is when you hit the right groove, you can reach millions of people very quickly for free, when before you couldn't even reach millions of people, period. So the ability for a good idea to take hold and catch, it catches and takes hold at a significantly greater rate. So that's my belief. My belief is like the ability to have velocity in a business, to take an idea and go really far with it really quick, has continually been redetermined based upon all of the results that I'm seeing. I mean, we saw Armando the other day. Like it is an outlier, but it is not as uncommon as you may think.
Yeah, 100%. And listen, there's many, many predictions. I think I talked about one of my presentations the other day, or if I haven't, I definitely have put it. I mean, some of the days blur into each other. Yeah. It's definitely coming up in one of my future presentations. There are many, many institutions, multi-billionaires. They're predicted there are going to be one-person billion-dollar companies by 2030. One-person company, $1 billion because of AI. And I can tell you, like, I actually think that's a fascinating point about like how times have changed. And I actually live in this, like, I live in this funny space where I have people that are older than me, and then I also, like, I kind of feel like an uncle, like, weirdly enough, like I'm in this weird, especially like in the online space, I feel in this weird place because I have like people older than me. They're like, look at me and they're like, you accomplished so much at a young age, blah, blah. And like, they're like, at your age, and I always hate when they say that. They're like, at your age, I was only doing this. And I'm like, yeah, but the thing is, you didn't have the opportunities. Like, I'm like, listen, I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate it's very kind of you, but like, I also just think it's very unfair to try to compare you and me because I had opportunities that you didn't have. And vice versa, I look at, because even what I accomplished, now there's like people accomplishing things like in today's day and age, because I started in online space like, well, almost 10 years ago at this point, and they're accomplishing things so much quicker than I accomplished it. And I'm like, fuck, man, like they're like even substantially better than I am. But then I have to remind myself there's opportunities that they have that I didn't have. Like I always bring it back to this, and I always say this, but like the first time I tried to launch a digital product, like I didn't have WAP. Like for me, even just to get payment processing was a nightmare. I had to convince my mom, because I was still a teenager. I had to convince my mom, hey, mom, can I use your PayPal? And then I was like, okay, once I sell it, like on PayPal, what do I send the PayPal link? And then do I like email it to them? And then like there's no automated system. So for me, it'd be unfair to compare myself to the success or the velocity of success that people in today's day and age are, and how quick some people are doing it. Not to say that everyone, not to say that everyone is guaranteed to do it quick, but I'm just saying you're seeing a lot more cases where, as you said, things that used to take this long are being compressed down. The timeline is being compressed far down. And for me personally, I'm in a very fascinating place because I can acknowledge people that got started in business 30 years ago or 20 years ago. And I know, I tell them, I'm like, listen, if I was in your position, I would not have been as successful as quickly as I would have. But then I look at people that are coming up now and I'm like, fuck, if I had the tools that you had, like I probably could have done what I did in 10 years in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like that. So it's just, we're in such an interesting time. We truly are.
I love that. Yeah. It's, every generation sees that, because every generation after it gets to stand on their shoulders. And so you are now getting to stand on Iman's shoulders. And that is a wonderful idea. Obviously there's more competition if the barrier to entry is lower, but still, when the demand is increased more than the supply is increased, even if supply is increased, that still means there's more for everybody. And also then that means, and this is not me trying to pitch you right now, trust me, I'll pitch you a lot later on in the session today, right?
Yeah, I was about to say as well, like we're getting a lot of questions about,
and I'm ignoring all
about
of those.
monetize. I'm sure you guys can see, like, just respectfully, guys, like you guys are our VIPs. We don't want to, when it comes to our VIP sessions, like we appreciate it. We love you guys. Like we love all the questions about monetize, but we want to focus on giving you as much value as humanly possible on these VIP sessions. That's what you paid for. That's why, that's our job here, to over deliver for you guys. Yep. So like, we see you, we love it, but just, we can speak about it in the main session. And also, by the way, guys, like I also saw a question about, is the main session worth it? Jason has not had the chance to take the floor and speak for an hour and a half, 2 hours. This man, like, listen, I've done okay for myself in life. I've accomplished some things, close to $100 million in digital product sales. It's good, okay? But this man right here has been involved in 300 million digital product sales. Like, do you understand that? Like, he's very private about who he works with, because, him and I both believe in discretion, and, there's a certain way to carry yourself in business and whatnot. But like, he has been behind any launch that you can think of, any product launch, any record breaking, anything. He's been behind it and had a component or a piece, or had his hand in it, or orchestrated and strategized it. So like, just trust me, this main session you will want to attend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's a fair point too. Like, people don't know and can't judge the value unless it's properly articulated, which was what yesterday's session was about. And to put a bow on the thought that I was having is, it is important, I think, for you to invest in tools these days, because there are more competition. The competition isn't that they are really competitors to you. They're trying, but they're walking when you could be running or flying, because you invested in a plane ticket versus trying to invest in a pair of shoes. So buying the right tools becomes more important in this market, but there are more better tools than ever, and you can leverage them more effectively than ever. So being part of the right group becomes more important than ever. When information was at a premium, just having information was the edge. Now that information is more democratized, who you hang with and trust to take information from, and who you can interact with once you hear that information and apply it to your situation, that becomes the difference. And if you do that, then there still is no competition, because it's just the leverage has changed, and then you seek the new leverage, and now you get a better result.
There's one question that I want to end with, because I think it's fascinating, and I actually think it's important for you to ask questions like this. I think it's coming from a bit of a negative perspective, but I actually think it's important. Someone asks, if you're a rich person, why would you teach someone, or like, why would you help someone get rich?
Yeah.
And that's a very valid question. I don't know if you saw the first presentation, maybe I repeated it, maybe you didn't see it. You're very correct in asking that. If you guys aren't aware, I am a co-owner in WAP. I wrote a very, very, very large check to have the stake that I have in WAP. I came in our last round, just to give you guys some context, we were processing about $33 million a month in payments in GMV. So people were making $33 million a month on our platform, and our valuation was $800 million. To give you guys some context, this month, I think we should be processing about $150 to $160 million. And we're growing 5 to 10% month on month. You can kind of do the math as to what the company is worth. So you are correct, right? Why would I sit here and teach you guys this and write the multiple seven-figure checks plus to get all of these resources to be able to give to you? The more money that you guys make, the more money WAP is worth, the more money I make. So that's the truth of it. Yeah. You're right. You should always ask someone, what are their intentions? The other thing is Consultant.com. I would love, at Consultant.com, we don't work with people that make less than 50 grand a month. Like, that's the bare minimum. Our top client last year did $120 million $120 million in revenue last year. They were big company. I won't get into it, but very, very big company. So my hope and my dream is that you guys succeed. Okay. You succeed in the digital product space. And in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is, you become a client of ours at Consultant.com. You process a lot of payments on WAP. And there you go. If you want to know my super evil genius, blah, blah plan, it's to make sure that you become so successful and rich with digital products that, we get a tiny, 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 tiny little percent of that. So there you go. That's the intention.
I love that. Yeah. So I got to get ready for the main session now. I'm going to get the jacket on, get freshened up, and come back in here. VIPs, can I count on you to be there? That would make me very happy to see the same names again in the chat here very shortly. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Let's see. Who's going to be there? VIPs, drop in the chat if you're going to be at Jason's presentation. Because trust me, you do not want to miss this one. I'll be there.
Yeah, Wayne.
Yes.
Shout out to Wayne. Nice. Look at all
Ray, Camilla, Mohammed, Wayne, Little Tiger, Rick, Saya, Khalil, Michelle. Amazing.
Fantastic.
Right. Love you guys lots, and we'll see you very soon.